Okay, YouTube Nation and Connor. Looks like we're missing Connor today. Anybody want to give a shout out to Connor? Connor?
Hi, Connor. Hello, Connor. I hope you're doing great.
Hi, Conrad.
Condog, what's up? Connie. Little Connie. All right. Like Lil Wayne? All right, so today's lesson is on limits, but we're going to investigate piecewise functions. And there's really two components to this. Number one, you want to be able to know limits. And number two, you want to be able to generate these function graphs. So let's check it out. F of x is 3 for x is less than -1. Oh, we also got Lexi gone today. Lexi, we missed you too. Aye. And f of x equal to 1 for x equal to -1. And x squared plus 2 for x greater than -1. So, piecewise functions, we already talked a little bit about this at the beginning of the class. What does the graph of 3 look like? What does the graph of 1 look like? And what does x squared plus 2 look like? Everybody got those three shapes sitting in your brain? You have to be able to get to that spot. Nope, don't draw them yet. That needs to be in your brain. So, let's check this out. The graph of 3 for x less than -1. So I plug in -1, and what do you get? 3. Open or close circle? Open. Any questions there? Ask or forever hold your peace. Okay, now I move along. 1 for x equals -1. What even is that? It's just a point. Excellent. Good work. Plug in -1. -1 squared plus 2. 3. It's like from the Minions. All right, very cool. So that's the graph we're trying to produce. And so piecewise functions can produce some very interesting graphs. So you're going to be able to generate these graphs, and then you're going to need to be able to determine the limits. What is the limit? Is x goes to -1 from the left. 3. What's the limit? Is x goes to -1 from the right. What's the limit? Is x goes to -1. Why? Same as the left as it is from the right. That's the more formal definition from what we talked about originally, but it's not, in order for the limit to exist, it must be the same from the left as it is from the right. What is f of -1? 1. Notice how that is different. F of -1 is different than the limit. Everybody understand that? Because the mistake that people make on the test, they say, oh, if it's an open circle, the limit can't exist. Because those two are different. Entirely false. Limit is x goes to 0 from the left. 2. 0 from the right. 2. Limit is x goes to 0. What is f of 0? So do you see how these are all the same, whereas that's not the case here? Those are two distinct differences between those. Okay, second example, then you can start your worksheet. Okay, a little bit more complicated, right? What does the graph of e to the x look like? What does 1 minus x squared look like? Graph of 2? -1 plus logarithm of x. Yeah, so log of x looks like this. right? But then it's going to be -1, so that's going to be shifted down 1 unit. Okay. So those are all 4 graphs that we want to keep in mind. All right. So let's keep those in mind. And plug in 0. 1. Open or close? Everybody with me? 1 minus x squared. It's a parabola. I'm going from 0 to 1. I plug in 0. What do you get? 1. I plug in 1. What do you get? 0. Open or close circle to start? Close. So would everybody agree? I fill in that spot. The next one, I've got this. So it's the parabola headed down there. And we've got open circle at that position. What is the next one? Yep. It's the graph. It's a point, 1, 2. -1 plus logarithm of x. So log of x goes through what point? We all have to know this. E to the x goes through what point? 0, 1. So log of x goes through 1, 0. Everybody agree 1, 0? So therefore, if it's -1 plus logarithm of x, it's going to shift it down 1 unit. So instead of 1, 0 goes through 1, -1. And I open circle there, right? Well, I'll admit, somewhat ridiculous graph, but that's challenging. But you're just think, you guys, before last year, I mean, you had 0 chance of being able to put that graph together, and now I know you need a little bit of help, but after this lesson, you guys should be able to do those things. Let me just, x goes 0 from the left, 1, 0 from the right, 1, 0, 1, f of 0. So those are all the same. Limit as x goes to 1 from the left, 0, 1 from the right, -1. Limit as x goes to 1 does not exist. F of 1, 2. These all 4 are different. Everybody clear? There you have it. So a continued investigation of limits, a little bit more complicated in terms of piecewise functions.